So it's quite hard for me to do these videos because talking about my traumas is very tough, but it also works like therapy. So a lot of things or a lot of memories come back. I have these pictures in my mind, like I have this photo album which didn't make sense, but now they do, pieces by pieces. And I told you we stayed at this hotel, Grand Hotel Eden in Lugano in Switzerland, where I was traumatized, brainwashed, sexually abused. I always thought the abusement started there in 1977. But now, because I'm talking about my traumas, everything comes back and I start realizing that I must have been abused at a much earlier age, because when I was 3 years old, I stayed at a hospital, and my mother always tried to convince me it was because I had this rare brain influenza. But I remember so vividly that I had this severe, extreme pain in my private part, like they had pushed a knife in my private parts. I screamed and I yelled. So I must have been, it wouldn't surprise me, abused at 3 years old, maybe earlier age. And the former owner of Hotel Eden was Marco Tronchetti Provera. He's now a mogul, rubber mogul, and he has connections to Bill Gates, the Rockefellers, Nicole Kidman. Look up the story about her father. Evil story. But we cannot prove it, so it must not be true. And he taught me swimming. He gave me swimming lessons, and he put my head underwater and almost choked me. And when I came by, he looked at me like he said, "I'm the boss," but he's not. I know now he's not my boss. He's not anybody's boss, and I'm going to expose them all. I also have this a memory of this nightmare when I was 13 years old. I had this nightmare, and I never ever could forget it. It stayed with me so vividly. I didn't understand what I was telling myself, but I know I was telling something to myself. But now I understand. I remember I was drugged when I was 13, or maybe at earlier age, because after dinner I got so tired. My mother told me to go upstairs to bed. I went to bed, lay down with my clothes on. The room started turning. I had this bitter taste in my mouth, and I had this feeling that my tongue was very thick, and I choked, and everything went black. But at one time, I remembered this nightmare, and now I know it's not a nightmare. I was aware while I was drugged and hypnotized. I was probably also hypnotized. That reminds me of Mark Dutroux. But at one time, I got aware where they were taking me and what they were doing to me. They took me to this isolated building. I was tied up to this hospital bed, and they put me horizontal. Difficult sometimes English. They carried me in this isolated building. Everything was dark, but further on there was light, and there was a pay desk with a lady on it. And they brought me to this pay desk. I never understood what they were doing, but that they were selling me, and I was bought probably as a child. And next to the pay desk, there were these creatures in black hooded capes. They were making sounds I didn't understand. But there were also these big flowers with human faces, these daisies. Like I was in this kind of movie, like Alice in Wonderland. She also ate or drank something, and she fell asleep, and she fell down in this strange world, and she met all these strange creatures, and she became big and small, and that's like I felt. I saw these daisies next to these creatures in these black hooded capes, and these daisies were so excited. I couldn't understand. They were make these strange sounds like, ooh, ooh.